put the Capitals in the driver's seat. But an astonishing collapse saw the Giants winning in this crucial stage, and the Giants winning by 19 runs. It was really exciting to see the defending champions showing strength of character, putting 126 on the board first. We saw they lost some early wickets, and Dubai Capitals got some early wickets early on, and we saw Vince coming in and batting. The captain, of course, once again going to see the Giants. They win by 19 runs. It was incredible to see all their bowlers and the spectacular performance they had. Looking at the table, the Gulf Giants are third, and they have 8 points, winning 4 out of the 8 games so far. In a very crucial stage. Joining me now on this incredible show today, Andy Flower, the coach of the Gulf Giants. You must be really proud. Anjum Chopra and Wasim Akram. Andy? Incredible today.
Yeah, very proud of the way the guys fought. You know, obviously a really low total. The pitch wasn't brilliant, but it was still a low total. And to defend that, I thought was outstanding. We had to take our chances. We had to field brilliantly, and we had to create 10 chances. We needed to bowl them out to win that game, and they did.
Congratulations, Andy, coach. Well done. Walk me through the batting for the both sides. Okay, like you said, pitch wasn't that difficult. It wasn't easy either, but it wasn't an impossible pitch. Am I right? Okay, I can understand you guys were going for 160, 165. You lost wicket on the way, and you got to 126. The team batting second just had to bat.
Look, I think you're making a fair point. I think if we got both teams in the dressing room now and we debriefed the game, I think people would say it wasn't the most brilliant cricket we've ever played out there. Both teams.
Both teams.
So you know, it was a slightly tricky wicket. There was a little bit of hold in it.
Sure.
We had a short side and a long side. You know, there was some good cricket played. Stone bowled brilliantly.
Yeah,
and I thought Vince was outstanding as a captain.
He really was, actually. I think the way he brought back Ayan when the two right-handers were there in the last 8 overs, that showed Vince as a captain how experienced he is and how much he's involved in the game, was involved in the game.
Yeah, very experienced captain and very experienced at winning, actually.
Yeah.
He's won a number of trophies as captain, and he knows how to create pressure. He knows when to attack and when to defend, and I think we saw that today. And then he backed it up with his fielding as well. He was brilliant in the field, sometimes underrated as a run-out merchant in that inner circle.
I mean, if you look at the wickets collapse, all 10, it's just incredible, because at one point it really looked like that score was not going to be enough and David Warner was going to take this home, but clearly not.
Yeah, well, I think we created pressure, and I thought our 2 young spinners were great examples of that. Ayan Khan, again, 2 games in a row. Zahaib's done it 3 or 4 games in a row. You know, one of them's 18, one of them's 20. And this is part of why this tournament is really important for this country, is because they're getting in this amazing exposure.
And what I like about Gulf Giants is I picked Gulf Giants, by the way, today. All of us did, even before the toss.
Excellent, thank you.
Usually you win. You pick the team after the toss. You go for the team batting second. But most of us did pick Gulf Giants. But I think I'm very happy for UAE players, 2 young spinners like you mentioned. They're getting a proper go. They're not just in playing 11 for the sake of playing 11.
Yeah.
How important is that for UAE cricket?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ayan Khan opening the bowling 2 days ago and getting 2 wickets with his first 2 balls. He's held himself brilliantly under pressure, I think. And so has young Zahaib. He's 20 years old, bowling leg spin against some of the best players in the world. So that's great for them as individuals, and it's also great for UAE cricket.
Excellent.
When you were batting there first, did you assess the target before the start of the 20 overs and then when you lost quick wickets, especially in the power play?
Not really, Anjum, actually, because we weren't sure how the wicket would play. So we wanted to get onto it and assess it. And even, I think we were really slow in adjusting in how to play on it. You know, we chipped the ball up a number of times. It was a slow wicket and it held a little. So I think, you know, we didn't play brilliant cricket with a bat. Vince fought hard.
Yes.
You know, and we had little cameos along the way. Drake's was really good at the end with a couple of important boundaries.
Holding as well.
Yes, yeah, Hetmeyer was excellent. So I think it was that fight that really came out, both with those individuals with the bat, and then with what we did.
On a lighter note, if you want to know about the pitch next time, see our pitch report. Our guy said bit of turn, bit of seam, and a little bit of runs.
Well, I'll come and eavesdrop. Yeah, only a little bit of runs. Yeah.
That was Alan for you. Now, Andy, you mentioned, of course, Ayan, he's had a great day. How proud are you the way he turned things around, and what was that decision making? How did that thought process come about?
Well, he played for us. He played most of the games last year as a 17-year-old. Then he's actually had a brilliant year with UAE. He's played really well, both with bat and ball. He didn't quite strike it as he would have liked today, but then no one really did on this pitch. But he has been excellent, excellent with the ball, really reliable, accurate, and canny, very canny for an 18-year-old.
Of course, and then that retired out decision. That's a tough one, and then to come back in bowl and get those 2 wickets.
Yeah, he's great fun to be with, Ayan. He's super enthusiastic. He absolutely loves the game. He lives the game. And he takes that enthusiasm and a little bit of sort of cocky confidence about him in a nice way, and that helps him perform.
And what's the plan going forward now for the Gulf Giants, of course, with 4 wins out and number 3 on the board?
Yeah, so 2 more games in the playoff, in the round section, league stages. We obviously want to win those 2. And that'll give us more confidence going into the playoffs. It's been quite a tough league stage for us at the moment, and it hasn't gone as swimmingly as last year. But there's still some more work to do to get into the playoffs, and then we'll take it from there.
And what's the emotion to win a game like this? Probably one of the most thrilling games that we had. We never knew till the end what's really going to happen and who's going to come out on top.
Well, this is why we love being involved. Seeing moments like Jamie Overton diving and taking that cleanly enough to knock the bails off and win the game. The tension in the dugout. That's why we play the game, for that sort of anticipation. We don't know what's going to happen, and it's brilliant to be involved in.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us. Incredible win for the Giants, and of course, I hope it's an incredible tournament going forward as well.
Thanks a lot. Thank
you.
And well done. Congrats.
See you on the winning side again.
Cheers.
Anjum, how do you react after a win like this?
You know, those happy pictures, those handshakes, those celebrations would just assist Gulf Giants coming together again. You know, they're champions. They're defending champions as well into this league. For them to win a contest like this, look, he was absolutely critical of the fact that they didn't assess the pitch well enough, and was absolutely honest in saying that they didn't have enough runs on the board, which they would have liked. They didn't bat well enough. But at the same time, to come out there, show all heart to defending that total, helped by the opposition batters also. But they took that help and made sure that they turned the things around for their side. So these wins actually will help them going forward in the match, in the tournament.
Absolutely. And the Gulf Giants will be really thrilled and delighted by their victory today. They're also a really fun bunch off the field. And if you don't believe me, check out their Instagram. It proves that. Now that's a really fun game. I think we need to try that in the
I
comp box.
think we commentators should play that game
I was
as
going to
well.
say, who do you think is going to win?
Alan in the middle. That'll help. Or Danny.
Who do you think is going to be the worst at it?
I reckon probably Danny. I've got
Why?
every feeling because he's Danny. We call him Mad Danny. Love him.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
Well, back to the cricket, guys. Now, talking about Ollie Stone. Just incredible. Unlucky because his team didn't support him in some way with those 4 wickets, and just spectacular performance for him.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
For me, he was outstanding, but Wasim Bhai will obviously talk more about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's so far. Whatever I saw him first time. His action, his pace, his thinking, back of a length, variations. You talk about in T20 cricket, talk about variation, pace, back of a hand, slow ball. He's got everything. And I think so far, the way he bowled in this tournament, that was his first game for Dubai. But in general, he was, for me, pick of the bowlers in this tournament so far. And in general, good follow-through, runs nicely, high arm action. And if you look at his action, high arm action, look at this, gather and then loading up there, good use of front arm, and then big stride in, and then lands. And look at the release of the ball. Look at how much power he's using. That's how he generates his space. And then the follow-through. That's so important for any fast bowler, and that's how he troubled the batter. He was nippy off the pitch. That means whenever he pitched, the ball was nipping back quickly, the batter than any batter would expect it. That's why those couple of bowls as well, because of his pace. So I like his action. Very compact, very simple.
He's also been someone who suffered from injuries, so this comeback, I'm sure, is more special for him as well, coming through.
Yeah, he was there in South Africa recently, and he's coming in. Of course, he's had some cricket behind him coming in, but to maintain this rhythm going, as Wasim Bhai explained, of course, the fact that he was rushing the batters, they were not standing on the crease or outside the crease as you probably want your batters, or you think your batters would stand. If the crease is here and they were closer to the stumps, they were way much deeper into the stumps, which you see a batter usually stand when they're facing the last 2 or 3 overs or 4 overs and they want to hit down the ground, which just indicates that he was rushing through and he was asking the batters to be quick onto the ball, which they were not. So that really goes to show that his rhythm was right, his pace was good, and he was causing concerns, which the results definitely show.
Results definitely show, and David Warner will not be an happy man. This was his last game. Tough one for the Capitals, but on the other side of this break, we're going to talk about his journey in the DP World ILT20. Welcome back. Now, just incredible by the defending champion Gulf Giants, winning by 19 runs, showing great strength of character and much needed in this big clash tonight at the Dubai International Stadium. Joining me now, of course, on the show, Natalie Germanos and Darren Ganga. Guys, what a game.
Incredible game, and I think, you know, we know this is a very good chasing ground, and I saw at the toss that James Vince wasn't that happy, losing toss again. It's now 7 out of 8 tosses that he's lost, and he also knows this is a good chasing ground, despite them having won against the Sharjah Warriors. And when they posted 126, they would have been very worried, because against the Sharjah Warriors, they were able to defend, but they scored over 180, so they had a lot to play with. And they would have also known that David Warner's leaving, and he would have wanted to go out with a bang. So
Absolutely.
There's no doubt that from their point of view, they would have been worried initially, but they put up an amazing fight.
And I think David Warner, like you mentioned, would have wanted to go out with a bang, but it wasn't for him or the Capitals tonight. Unfortunately, suffered that defeat. But David Warner, let's reflect on his tournament at the DP World ILT20.
Yeah, David Warner, not his tournament that he would have wanted. Recently retired from Test matches and ODIs. It would have felt at the beginning of this tournament maybe a slightly more relaxed player, in that a lot of the pressures of international cricket are off his shoulders. And he's come off A very good summer with Australia, but arriving on the shores here in the UAE, it just never came together for him. He battled to find his own timing. He struggled also to bring the team together with consistent performances, and it just never really worked for him. He's a destructive opening batter. He's got so much franchise experience, and unfortunately for him and the Dubai Capitals, he didn't make the impact that he would have wanted to. And it's a sad end to his time here at the DP World ILT20.
True, it's a tough one to leave the Capitals in this position because it is not an easy one going forward for them.
It'll be tough, tough because they have to play against My Emirates. It's a team that is in full form. Whilst you might think that Nicholas Purran won't be there, Karen Pollard is going to fill that void. So that will be a formidable opposition for them. They must win their remaining 2 matches. I think they also have Desert Vipers as the second of the 2 matches. You know, where do you go from here? When you have a team back against the wall, you have to score 127 runs to win a game and you don't deliver. You know, that's further denting the confidence of this side. Someone has to put their hands up and really come big, produce a massive win. All they can do is focus on the remaining 2 matches, but they only have themselves to be blamed. And just staying with David Warner, again, you know, much was expected from him. No one, if you told them that David Warner would strike at under 100 and score only 115 runs after 8 matches, they'd say, nah, they wouldn't believe you. But he's done that, so that's hurt them a lot.
But don't you think having a player like him also boosts the profile of a tournament?
Yeah, indeed. I'm sure there are beneficiaries from having a David Warner in your dressing room. The immense reputation that he comes with. Natalie mentioned what he's done in the world of cricket across formats. I think the learnings from the approach, him as captain, many of the local UAE players would have benefited. And I still think that there's value in this team. Who knows? The gate is still open for this side to qualify in the top 4. It's not a closed door. So we might well see this Dubai Capitals team in the top 4 contending for this title.
Like you said, the gates are still open. When we take a look at that points table, we only know My Emirates so far has made it to the playoffs and the rest still all have a chance. The Gulf Giants, of course, have, with this win, on number 3 position. My Emirates are number 1. Abu Dhabi Knight Riders are going to be in action tomorrow. Desert Vipers, Dubai Capitals and the Warriors at the bottom.
It's very tightly contested at the moment, and that's why I think net run rate is going to be important. We've heard a couple of times from Tom Kohler-Cadmore, the captain of Sharjah Warriors, that he feels net run rate is irrelevant, and I think it's actually quite relevant. Their net run rate is an issue. They're in a -2, I think, and he's said a few times, obviously they need to get the wins. I get that part. You have to get the points because it's not going to help if you're at the bottom of the table and got a good net run rate, but I do think net run rate could come into, and I think it's very relevant. So teams have got to keep an eye on that as well and make sure obviously they get the wins. But I think it's going to be very tight for those last couple of places.
And it is a big game tomorrow in Abu Dhabi. The Knight Riders taking on the Sharjah Warriors. I mean, at this point, everyone wants that win and needs it.
Yeah, who knows? You just can't tell. I mean, we've seen some brilliant matches in Abu Dhabi. We'll have to wait and see what the Warriors could ignite, because when you look at that team, there's an abundance of talent there. They just haven't played to their full potential as a team.
And Abu Dhabi Knight Riders on 3 wins in a row, which was completely unheard of last year. They had 1 win to their name right at the end of the tournament last year. They're on 3 wins in a row. They've had 5 in total. A win for them means they go through, because then they're also going to be on 12 points. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Narayan. He split the webbing on his finger, didn't captain in the last game. Andre Russell captain, but he's gone to international duty. So it'll be interesting to see how they sort of bring them together and find a way to get that win, which ensures them into the next
But what do you
round.
think has been the secret of that side?
They've had a few good signings, that is for sure. They've brought in a few good players. David Willey's been absolutely brilliant for them. He's so experienced. We've seen Josh Little do well in the last couple of games as well. And I think they've kind of brought that together. I thought the other night he was superb.
Yeah, I think the discipline that the left-handers in this side has shown with their ability and skill, that's been a major part of their success. Wicket taking in the power play phase of the innings, the discipline from the spinners thereafter. Imad Wazim has complemented Sulun Narayan, and then the Andre Russell factor with the bat. Let's not forget that. Striking at over 200, playing those cameos at the back end when you think they'll finish at 150 and they end up at 180. So it's a team that is really coming together nicely at the back end or the business end of this tournament.
Business end of this tournament, everyone's going to pull up their socks, and Ravi Bopara has been coming to the party.
Well, we talk about experience, and he certainly has it in spades, that is for sure. He's played 460 T20 games, and we saw his experience the other night against the Sharjah Warriors. Also saw a lot of his variations and skill. Those knuckleballs, which he actually spoke about with us after the game and how long he worked on it. That's incredibly hard to be able to control, to get it on the right line and length, to make sure also that the batters don't pick up that it's the knuckleball as well. And not an easy ball to bowl. I mean, even the likes of Waka Yunus, for example, has spoken about and said that he doesn't know how they necessarily do it. Wasim Akram's also spoken about it. It's not an easy ball to bowl.
We saw Kugan Line use that variation today, you know, trying to take pace off the ball. And you know, when guys are trying to hit you out the park, you're setting yourself for pace on the ball, and then it deceives you. That is where bowlers get on top of batters and create wicket-taking opportunities.
Now, when you talk about the Warriors, what did they need to do to really get that win? It's not easy sitting at the bottom of the table, but Javadullah also has been there and really doing well.
Yeah, it's not their bowling. I mean, their bowling has really come through nicely. You look at Javadullah, you look at Tikshana, how these guys have gone about things. They just haven't had enough runs to work with. It's their batting that is the major focus. Outside of Johnson Charles and Tom Kohler-Cadmore, no one has really scored runs. So the bowlers now are being put under pressure to work with small targets. You know, they're low on confidence. They don't have the latitude to bowl their full complement most of the times. I guess it's really the batters that they need to come good for these remaining matches.
Concern for them is that Tikshana is not here anymore as well. He's gone off to international duty, so that's also a little bit of a concern for them. I agree with you, their batting has been their problem, getting that order right, but now, unfortunately, they're not even going to have the services of him either, so it is a little bit concerning from the Sharjah Warriors' point of view. They've got work to do.
And it's concerning when you have some of your key players and stars that are going back for international duty. It sort of throws off the composition of the team as well.
I mean, some may say that the replacement players will bring a freshness to your team depending on your form. So I guess it's a win-win because you get an opportunity for a new player trying to make a name for himself, and they deliver for you. For teams that are not performing well, it could be an advantage, but for other teams, I'm sure when you've developed a chemistry, it's not ideal for you as players who are important parts of your success.
Let's take a look at the predictions. I feel like this prediction leaderboard is a fun one. And Darren, you're still at the top. What is going on? Can you tell us?
No, I mean, I'm just, you know, processing information nicely. I mean, things are working and coming together, so.
Well, I guess we know what's happening. And tomorrow, if we have to predict, we're going to have to wait to see what happens. But that's all we have from the Dubai International Stadium. Spectacular game and a win for the defending champion, the Gulf Giants.